building websites in this new era and using AI agents or AIs or LLMs or whatever to help build and deliver these websites. And what do you need to do to build a website that works? Well, you're going to have to hit on all the classic points that development agencies and SEOs would have typically done in the past. Now, this would have cost thousands of dollars. You would have had to tender these relationships. There's a lot of time, a lot of energy investment that goes into this. But the reality is development agencies hit very specific points. They're usually trying to deliver a website that works for a client that does all the business needs. And then you've got the SEO people who are trying to optimize it so that that site actually works and brings in revenue on the internet. So it's two functions, but each of those, like the developers and the SEOs, they do very specific things. These specific things can be told to AI, or an AI could say, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. And that's what James really did. So he goes through, he wants to build a website for mobile diesel repair. And I think there was some discussion too about he like identified that this was a service that was underserved. And so he uses Claude Code to create a mobile diesel repair site. And the initial basis is he wants to figure out what search terms he could rank for to draw in business. So it's stuff like mobile diesel mechanic in Charlotte. Okay. So his first step is an SEO kind of thing. He says, give me 25 to 50 keywords for this business. And so Claude goes through, does a little bit of browsing, and determines that there's 4 things that people really want in this niche. They have emergency problems like, oh my God, I need help right now. I'm stuck on the side of the highway. Service, like my diesel truck needs some repairs. There's a problem, something that they're trying to troubleshoot. The truck driver or something like this, presumably, is trying to troubleshoot. And then local stuff. So people looking for local services in that arena. And he sorted, Claude ranked those and said, all right, we're going to try to do this, this, and this. And so then this builds off a theme we explored last week. Claude built 1 page per intent. So that's like if somebody's looking for emergency repair, Claude built a page for emergency repair with those specific keywords and that whole thing. That page was only dedicated to that. So high specificity. So it says high intent plus hyper local pages. So it's very specific. I have an emergency. I'm in Charlotte. That's very high specificity. And those pages are going to win. So if an AI is scouring the web, looking for this stuff, and this page is only about emergency diesel repair services in Charlotte, that's going to go up near the top. Like, this seems pretty darn relevant. There's no other fluff on the page. There's nothing to confuse the AI engines or whatever that are looking at this. That's important. This is why I mentioned last week, you want to have pages that are super, super specific and nothing in the sidebar and none of this other stuff, because you don't want to introduce any confusion into a machine that's parsing this page. It's got to be totally clear. And then he goes through and provides another SEO layer. He says, yo, Claude, ultra think this site and find and fix all the SEO issues. Well, Claude comes back and says, well, you don't have a sitemap. You don't have schema data. You could compress your images to make your pages faster and some other recommendations. This is all stuff SEOs actually do. Okay, but it's kind of basic stuff. It's just a playbook. And so you apply the playbook. Claude knew what to do, and it went through and did this. Let's take a detour real quick. What was Claude actually delivering here? Got to think about this. This is presumably a static HTML website. If Claude were to have to go and supply schema, a sitemap, and other stuff to a WordPress website, for example, it would have to work with the tools in WordPress. It wouldn't be able to do it. It would have to tell the human, hey, you're going to need to go do all this stuff, and that'd be a lot of work. But because this is a static HTML website that Claude is spitting out, it's spitting out like 50 pages saying, here you go, upload these to your server. It's all going to work. Because it does that, it can say, oh, we need to make this change, these particular changes to all 50 pages. And it can do that. And this is actually going to be a theme of this week's show, like, might need to rethink the way we do all this stuff. If it's spitting out a static website, number one, static websites are super freaking fast. Number two, the problem with static websites in the past was that you couldn't make changes to everything in an efficient way. Well, AI kind of turns that on its head. Now you can. Do we need these old tools anymore? I don't know. After reading and watching some of this stuff, I'm like, we we might be able to do things differently. It's certainly in like for a business like this, is this guy trying to run a website, or is he trying to print money and do the diesel repair help? Well, the business is to help the diesel. That has nothing to do with the dang website. The website's purely for attention and marketing. Does he really need a WordPress backend to go manage all this stuff over time? It's questionable. And if an AI can save that working environment and he just augment it later on, it looks pretty good to me.
So what